the DOJ may have violated Luigi Mangioni's rights, the famous shooting that happened of the CEO, the healthcare CEO. Trump and his cronies cannot help but put their fingers on the scale, and the court's calling them out for it.
Yeah, this is such a weird turn of events that's happened here. I mean, obviously, we have the security footage. We've seen what took place on the streets of New York. So for any prosecutor, this was kind of a very easy prosecution. We can go in there, show the video, be done in 5 minutes, we're home in time for lunch. But the Trump DOJ is so incompetent and just downright stupid that they have potentially prejudiced the jury pool to the point where now Mangioni's lawyers have filed a motion in court saying, listen, we can't get a fair trial because the people prosecuting us keep going out there talking about this guy is a terrorist, this guy's a left-wing lunatic, potentially tainting every jury pool across the country. And the judge seems fairly open to that argument.
Well, and as a former prosecutor, and I've prosecuted plenty of murder cases, there's always publicity, but there's a reason why you don't run out there every time you can, because the state has a megaphone that the defendant does not. That's where the inherent unfairness comes. You know, you should just be putting the evidence before, the security camera evidence, whatever evidence they have. Instead, you have the president of the United States saying he's a radical terrorist and this, that, and the other, and they're kind of putting their finger on the scale, leading towards, I think it's a reasonable conclusion that he cannot get a fair jury pool, or there's going to have to be extraordinary remedies given. So you could see, one of the potential solutions here is to dismiss the prosecution. And you would potentially have a murderer going free because the government cannot stop but putting their fingers on the scale and prejudicing this man. Whether or not he did it is irrelevant. It is the fairness that matters, the fairness of the process, which this administration, of course, doesn't seem to give a damn about.
Well, and what's interesting, too, is that this administration, the prosecutors with the DOJ and Trump himself, it's not just that they said things after it happened. They have said things as recently as within the last 2 weeks about this man, bringing him into issues where it's not even related. They have tied him into the death of Charlie Kirk. They have tied him into other mass shootings that have happened in the last couple weeks, always bringing up his name in issues where, again, he's completely irrelevant. He was not obviously involved in any of this. So by doing that, by invoking this, name of Luigi Mangioni, when you're talking about these other tragedies, yeah, that's going to put it into people's heads like, wow, yeah, this guy is so bad that all these bad things are now happening. It is a horrible situation, for the defendant to be in, again, regardless of what's happening. But I don't know. I think they may have absolutely screwed the pooch on this to where it's almost impossible to prosecute.
Well, it's going to be interesting because the court has a lot of powers to remedy this or to attempt to remedy this. Of course, the nuclear option is saying the case can't proceed, but the panel can get bigger, where it's going to be tried, all of those things is going to hurt the prosecution's ability. It's particularly unique, and I think this is one of the only times in American history, certainly to the volume. Donald Trump is a defendant and has been a defendant multiple times throughout his recent term before he took presidency again. You would think he would be particularly sensitive to the process and a fair trial.
Well, he's also the same guy that repeatedly got sanctioned by the judges. He doesn't care about any of this. Never has, never will. It's all about optics. It's all about talking points. And so in that lens, it absolutely makes sense that this is how the DOJ would proceed with this. But this is also what happens when you stack your administration with the most incompetent human beings on the planet. And to a degree, we should be glad. If Trump had any single person in his administration that has even the slightest little bit of competence, I think things just in general in America would be so much worse than they already are. So again, yes, these people are incompetent, but that incompetence might be the only thing that saves this country long enough to get somebody else in office.
Well, I think to your point, these tweets and things aren't just coming from the president, which is significantly problematic by itself. It's people lower than him in the DOJ because he's appointed deeply unserious, deeply unqualified people in all of these positions that are PR machines that he saw on TV, and he thinks that, Shapiro and these people he's appointing to all these positions, they're not qualified, and this is what's going to happen. You're going to lose cases you should win. You're going to constantly be in contempt actions in these courts, and the courts are starting to become more aggressive. Again, there's always a lag. The court's always the last, but they're the most well-reasoned and supposed to be the most free of political influence.
And we've seen a lot too with these DOJ lawyers and some of these other Trump cases. They go in, they're completely inexperienced. I mean, they don't have this kind of knowledge to be able to do this. And they have fumbled through, they have made countless mistakes. They've been admonished by judges for being completely unprepared. And in a lot of instances, defending things they don't even know how to defend. So I don't know what kind of prosecutors or lawyers they have on the Mangione case, but if it's anything like the other lawyers on these other cases, it wouldn't matter if you've prejudiced the jury ahead of time or not, because they're just that bad at their jobs. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.